This is Top 30.
Welcome to Top 30. I'm Kristen Smith.
And I'm Richard Bacon, and we have 30 stories for you in just 30 minutes. And today we'll give you the details of the controversial interview with O.J. Simpson that will be airing for the first time ever.
And we'll also tell you about some of the new words Merriam Webster just added to the dictionary, like embiggen, for example.
We will.
But let's get started with some good news about the flu season. The CDC says the flu season has peaked. Illnesses began to decline during the 8th week of the year, which doctors say is a good sign. But that doesn't mean there won't be more flu cases or the season is even close to being over. The CDC cautioned people from letting their guard down, saying there's still high activity in 32 states and many more weeks of the flu season to go. You know, the flu vaccine was only 36% effective this year, and doctors are rigorously trying to make it more effective next year.
Isn't that a remarkable thing, 36%? So if you take it, the chances are it still won't work. It still won't prevent you from getting the flu. Let's go to the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with your friend and mine, Nicole Pedalides. Nicole, you have some good news from McDonald's.
That's right, Richard. Forget frozen patties. McDonald's is going to start serving fresh beef in all quarter pounders in select markets. The burger chain also adding a premium sandwich to its menu called the Garlic White Cheddar. You can expect more changes to come as the fast food giant turns up the heat on burger rivals, including Shake Shack and Smash Burger. Lego's sales fell for the first time in 13 years. The Danish toy maker made a rebound in the 2000s after almost filing for bankruptcy. The company announced a while back that it is laying off 8% of its staff and pressed the reset button on its business model. Netflix is rolling out new features to let parents and guardians better monitor what the children are watching on the streaming service.
And Nicole, tell me, what is Netflix's plan for executing this?
Well, the first of these changes is it's expanding the PIN parental control for a specific series in addition to level of maturity. Users can expect these changes globally in the coming months. Netflix has more than 100 million users worldwide.
Nicole, on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, thank you. So it will be harder for your kids to see things on Netflix that they perhaps shouldn't see.
Which is always good news because my kid's 3 and he knows how to navigate
It's amazing,
technology. It really is fascinating.
And my daughter's 4 and she'll say, I want to watch Netflix. Kids that age never say, I want to watch NBC. I want to watch ABC.
Right.
Shows you where it's going.
I know, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, another winter storm is expected to bring nearly a foot of snow to New York City and the surrounding area on Wednesday and into Thursday. Residents who just got their power back after last week's nor'easter storm will now have to brace for more snow and strong winds. And the USS Lexington, an aircraft carrier that sunk in World War II, has been found off the coast of Australia. The carrier was abandoned in 1942 by the U.S. Navy after being bombed and torpedoed by the Japanese, a battle in which 216 crew members died. Now watch as Keonta Vernon surprises his girlfriend during his senior night ceremony.
I believe Keonta has a question for Katie. I think we'll take that as a yes.
Aw, I love a good proposal.
It's a lovely thing. An explosive interview with O.J. Simpson from 2006 has been unearthed in which he describes the murders of his ex-wife Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman if he'd hypothetically done it. Dubbed the Lost Confession, Fox will air the interview during a 2-hour special on Sunday. The original interview never aired when it was revealed the interviewer, Judith Regan, was fired by publisher HarperCollins for allegedly paying Simpson $3.5 million for the sit-down, causing, as you might imagine, public outcry.
Forget everything you think you know about that night, because I know the facts better than anyone. This is one story the whole world got wrong.
Nearly 12 years later, the never-before-seen footage will air on March the 11th. It will be hosted by Soledad O'Brien and will feature a panel of analysts commenting on the interview. It sounds profoundly strange.
Yeah.
But, doesn't it? But, Kristen, I cannot wait to hear what the panel hypothetically thinks of O.J.'s hypothetical confession.
Well, I'll be watching, and I'm sure a lot of people will be as well.
No doubt.
Top 30, I'll be right back. Welcome back to Top 30. The opioid epidemic has made a lot of headlines, but now we're hearing what impact it's having on children across the country. Listen to this, more than 1,500 children were hospitalized between 2012 and 2015, almost double the number from 2004 to 2007. And to just break this down a little bit further, the age range from 12 to 17 is the most frequently admitted range to the hospital. But the second highest, and this is what really hit me hard, ages 1 through 5.
One of the elements of this story right now is just how strong these drugs are. Now imagine, you know that they have a huge impact on adults. Imagine the impact on a little child's body that medication must have.
That's actually preventable. As parents, we can do our part to make sure any drug we have is locked up.
We did an opioid special on Top 30, a few weeks ago, and when you really get into the detail of the crisis, it is so dark and it is so bleak. It is hard to fully get your head around it.
Yeah, it really has a ripple effect too, because there are just over 4,000 beds, pediatric ICU beds, nationwide, just over 4,000. So if kids are who have ingested opioids, that
they're
means
taking up beds who are kids who've had serious accidents or got into a car accident, now don't have a bed because a kid has ingested some opioids that their parents may have left lying around.
Parents gotta lock up our medication, bottom line.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. An elementary school in Denver is part of a pilot program that teaches kids yoga instead of sending them to detention.
My only tiny problem with this is instead of detention, giving yoga. So if you do something bad, like, hey, I skipped class, it's like, well, you have to go to yoga. Dang it. You know what I mean? There's no punishment in that.
It's great. Where I come from, in this little town, not a very good town in the middle of England, the idea that you teach kids yoga is so ridiculous. Right? My parents roll their eyes at this notion.
Why?
Because they just think it's like La La Land rubbish. And here's the thing, my own son, who is 6, he learned to meditate and do yoga. And on his first day at school here in LA, he was nervous. And to get over his anxiety, he actually just started meditating. And all the teachers came up to me and my wife, Rebecca, afterwards, and were like, what, that's your son? How did he learn to do that? And actually, he got on top of his emotions, and he had a much better day at school. And now, across the entire school, they've instituted like a meditation program.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, Richard, I'm gonna pose a scenario.
Do it.
Okay. You do something nice for me.
It's not happened yet.
Not yet, but I'm waiting still. And I say, thank you. What's your response?
I don't really have a response. I guess I might say you're welcome.
Yes, okay,
Why?
it worked. Fewer people are saying you're welcome.
Because?
Well, linguists are saying there's a big reason behind this. People want to be more considerate, so they're using phrases like, no problem, no worries, or anytime.
No, I honestly, I just don't understand. What's wrong with your welcome?
Well, I guess your welcome sends the message that this person should have thanked you and did the right thing, so it's not very humble.
Oh, okay, so it's slightly passive-aggressive.
You're
welcome.
I don't really think about it that much, though.
No.
You know what I mean? I'm used to saying you're welcome, so I just say you're welcome. I'm not trying to be prideful or arrogant.
Whereas when I say you're welcome to you, I probably am being a little bit chippy and passive-aggressive.
Yes, I'm not going to fight you.
Because I do expect you to thank me regularly.
And I think I do.
It's a great story, Kristen. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bit arrogant. Top 30, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Top 30. A number of stories this week highlight the cost of treating rare health conditions. The LA Times reports that many patients with hemophilia need federal and state assistance because their drugs are so expensive. One child in California cost taxpayers $21 million in a single year. This story of treating rare conditions is one of the most interesting stories in all of the world.
Yeah, I agree. And kids have no choice but to take these drugs. Hemophilia, for example, it's a rare genetic condition. Kids with this condition can bleed to death, even from a very simple injury. In the U.S. hemophilia market, $4.6 billion a year. It's big business.
For 20,000 people. But the famous argument, though, of the drug companies is the first tablet that they make for an illness costs billions to get the first one right. Then after that, sure, it might not cost that much to print the next tablet, but they had to put billions and billions into the, into the very first one.
Yeah, and they're saying that they have to do that for the high development costs and the very complicated and lengthy manufacturing process.
When you get into the weeds of this story, there is a fault in the market that somehow someone needs to correct and address. I think, to bring down these costs.
I agree. Well, this week, Merriam Webster added 850 new words to its online dictionary. I love when this happens because I love, you know, seeing which new words are added. Okay, many of them come from internet memes like dumpster fire.
It's a great one.
Which is
just a fantastic, enjoyable word to say, isn't it?
Really? Do you use that word often?
I don't use it enough, is what I would say.
I know, right? And if you don't know what dumpster fire means, it's an utterly calamitous or mismanaged situation or occurrence. I'm still trying to work dumpster fire into my regular
Yeah,
speech.
you should. What's the word from The Simpsons? This is one from The Simpsons.
From The Simpsons, embiggen, to make bigger or more expansive. And that's from The Simpsons, this episode where Lisa was embiggening things. Life hack is another one. And you know what a life hack is, right?
No, actually, I genuinely don't know what a life
really?
hack is. No, what is
a life hack is a clever tip that makes your life easier.
They've added this wonderful word to the dictionary, which is mansplaining. It's when a man explains something to a woman that she already knows.
Oh, kind of like you're doing right now. You know?
Yes, like the word mansplaining.
Like the word
Exactly that. Top 30 will be right back.
In today's hometown stories from Fox 26 Houston, last November, 98-year-old Naomi Williams was denied by FEMA when Hurricane Harvey destroyed her home. After her story aired on Fox 26, her community rallied by her side. Nonprofit group The Relief Gang and NHR renovators rebuilt her home with furniture donated by Mattress Mac. Now Williams sees her remodeled home for the first time.
I'm so happy that you were involved and you got them involved, and this is what happened.
I know I'll be comfortable for the rest of my life.
Our next story from Fox 10 Phoenix. In 2008, Marilis Anderson's grandson was serving in South Korea. She knit him a wool cap to keep him warm, and it was so popular, he asked if she could send a few more for his buddies. Well, that's when Caps for Soldiers was born. Enlisting the help of her friends, the group gathers to do their part to help soldiers feel comfortable while they serve. 10 years after their start, over 17,000 knit caps have been sent to troops. Our final story from KTVU, the Hayward Unified School District teamed up with the Alameda County Community Food Bank to open a food pantry.
The rent's high, the food is high, so this is definitely a good break for me.
It's estimated about 1/3 of children in Hayward live in poverty, and hungry students have trouble keeping up in school. Well, thanks to the new pantry, over 300 families can finally get the food they need. Welcome back. A New Jersey teenager with Down syndrome made headlines for sinking an amazing basket on her school's senior night. Well, now she's being recognized by some of her basketball heroes. Mike Jarek from Fox 29 in Philadelphia joins us with more. Mike?
Oh, yes, Kristen, I love this young lady. 18 years old, senior at her high school. Her name is Kate Spadaro. So she gets into the game senior night, hits about an 8-foot jumper, crowd goes wild. Well, our professional team, the 76ers, they take notice, invited she and her dad to a game last Friday night. They got to meet all the players, go to the locker room, hang out on the court for a while. Oh, and by the way, it wasn't just the 76ers. The Harlem Globetrotters were in town over the last couple of weeks, and they honored her as well. She got to meet all of them.
So, Mike, what does Kate have planned for after high school?
Well, she's going to go to college. She wants to be a teacher's aide, and she'll get it done.
And I have no doubt she will. Thanks, Mike.
Nice story.
Yeah.
Fans of wasting money, your luck's in. A train that was once at Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch is going up for auction. Jackson bought the electric train set for his children to ride and had it custom made in Germany. It has about 40 feet of track and 4 cars that's so-called a tree at the ranch. In about 2008, a private buyer who is a devoted Michael Jackson fan bought the set, then kept it in storage since then. The starting bid is $2,000, but experts say it could go as high as $250,000. It will be up for auction on March the 24th as part of the Legends of Hollywood and Music auction.
Pretty cool. Well, March is Women's History Month, and here at Top 30, we're celebrating some leading ladies who have defied the odds and risen to the top of their fields. So up first is astronaut Peggy Whitson. In April of last year, she broke the record for most days spent in space by a NASA astronaut. Whitson is also the first woman to command the International Space Station twice. Aretha Franklin, also known as the Queen of Soul, has 18 Grammys to her name. Franklin was also the first woman ever inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987. Tatiana McFadden was born with spina bifida, which paralyzed her from the waist down, but that didn't stop her from winning 17 Paralympic medals. McFadden is also the first person, able-bodied or otherwise, to win the Boston, Chicago, London, and New York marathons in a single year, and we thank these trailblazers for paving the way for the next generation of women leaders.
That is an astonishing, borderline superhuman achievement, isn't it?
I know, running one marathon is.
Yeah, right. Scientists are trying to uncover why some cats can be aggressive towards humans. Researchers from the University of Edinburgh in Scotland and New York's Bronx Zoo compared domestic house cats to 4 different types of wild cats. Those were the clouded leopard, African lion, snow leopard, and Scottish wildcat. The house cats were found to share several key traits with the lions. Those included impulsiveness, a tendency to be dominant, and confirming what cat owners already knew, being neurotic. Because the wild cats and house cats are both afraid of people, some experts believe that could mean cats would attempt to kill humans if only they were large enough. Others have criticised the study for not being detailed enough. Some have pointed out that cats would rather hunt other animals like birds. Experts say the study is a reminder that even though we keep them as pets, cats are predators. You might think that your cat loves you. Actually, it wishes it was big enough to kill you.
Cat lovers aren't going to like this story.
Top 30, you'll be right back.
There's a reason doctors are described as selfless. A group of more than 250 doctors in Quebec, Canada, deferred the newly appointed raises given by the government in favor of giving that pay raise to overworked nurses and clerks. In an open letter, the physicians requested their salary increase be canceled. In part, the letter read, "Our patients live with the lack of access to required services because of the drastic cuts in recent years and the centralization of power in the Ministry of Health. The only thing that seems to be immune to the cuts is our salaries." In response, Quebec's health minister said, if they feel they are overpaid, they can leave the money on the table. I guarantee you I can make good use of it. According to the Canadian Institute for Health Information, medical specialists in Quebec make an average annual salary of $403,537. Overpaid or not, giving up their raise is a generous gesture I can get behind. A college basketball player's assist has gone viral, but this move was one he made off the court. Mike Lewis II is a sophomore guard for Duquesne. He says he noticed a woman living in her car as he walked to and from practice and wanted to do something to help her out. So after a game, he took some leftovers from the team meal and took it to her, and he posted the delivery on Twitter.
I play basketball for Duquesne, so we got some food today, so I always wanted to give you a pizza and some wings.
Lewis says he decided to post this exchange on Twitter to try to be a positive role model for kids who follow him. Looks like he's an MVP on the court and off.
A new study could completely change the way doctors treat diabetes. Scientists from Sweden and Finland say there are actually 5 types of diabetes. People with diabetes have blood sugar levels that are too high. For decades, patients have been classified as type 1 or type 2. In type 1 diabetics, the immune system keeps patients from producing the hormone insulin. The new study says there are actually 4 different kinds of what's now called type 2 diabetes. Researchers said patients should be categorized differently based on whether diabetes is related to their weight or age and whether they're unable to make enough insulin or if they don't respond to it. Diabetes is growing more common, but the way it's diagnosed hasn't changed in years. It affects 1 in 11 people worldwide. It increases the risk of heart attack, stroke, blindness, and kidney failure. The scientists hope a better system for classifying patients will lead to better treatment.
Fixer Upper is in their 5th and final season, so we thought it might be fun to let you in on some secrets you might not already know about the hit HGTV show. Starring the renovation wonder couple Chip and Joanna Gaines, they help families find the perfect home and then transform it for them. Even though they go shopping for homes in the show, a client from season 4 told New York Magazine that they've already chosen a house and are usually under contract. And like many reality TV shows, season 3 client Lindy Ermoian says Chip only picked up a hammer when cameras were rolling. Lindy also reveals that clients don't have direct access to the couple. They mostly communicate with a team of design assistants. To qualify for the show, homeowners need to have at least $30,000 to put toward renovations, which they are getting at a discounted price, so that's nice. Now here's the one that got me, because I just love reveal day. Several reports and clients, like Jamie Ferguson from season 3, said you don't get to keep the furniture or decorations. It's not included in the makeover, but they do make it available to the homeowners to purchase separately.
That is it for today's Top 30. Here are some stories coming up that are worth knowing about. Many connected devices know where their users are at all times, and the information they collect is for sale. Plus, new research says there may be health benefits to holding hands. And when this skier was trapped by an avalanche, a group of strangers came to his rescue. Top 30 also covers more of the day's stories live on Facebook daily. 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 Eastern. It's all coming up on the next Top 30.